You've just washed up on the shores of Wraeclast, an exceedingly dangerous place. Grab your weapon, assign a secondary movement button, and skip all tutorials, as I will guide you through the act. On killing your first zombie, a skill gem will fall to the floor. Pick this up and start running down the beach. Press the I key to open your inventory and use your secondary movement button to keep walking around while you equip the skill gem in your main weapon. This can take some getting used to, but it will help you run the act faster if you're a returning player. Once you've done this, remap the left mouse button to move instead of attack. This will save your life so many times. Halfway down the beach, you'll find a large chest. Left click it and pick up the support gem that drops. Note that if you're in Ruthless mode, you will not get this chest. Place the support gem in the second slot of your weapon. Gems can only be placed in a socket of the same colour or white. You should note that the socket in our weapon has a line between it, connecting the two. This is called a link. Support gems make your active gems more powerful, so putting Ruthless in with our skill has given it more power. Every third hit, it will do substantially more damage. This bonus will only be granted though if the two sockets are linked together. If this link didn't exist, then our main skill would not be getting any bonuses right now. It should also be noted that each support gem you add to an active gem will increase the mana cost of that skill. Run to the end of the beach without killing anything else. You'll find a boss called Hillock. Once you take him down to half health, he'll pull the sword out of his chest and regen to full health immediately. This boss's hits do hurt, and he does have a lot of hit points. The real key to this is to keep out of his way and walk around him in a circle, hitting him repeatedly. Once he's down, he should drop a ton of loot. Pick up everything and run through the door into town. You want to find the NPC called Tarkley. Talk to him and he'll offer us a skill gem for defeating Hillock. These are almost always better than your starter gems, so you're going to want to pick one of these up. In my case, I'm just going to go for Ground Slam. And I'll just swap this with the first gem we picked up on the Twilight Strand, still linked to the support gem of Ruthless. Our next job is to look at his wares. There's two things we want from him. One is a pair of runner's boots. You can type in NN into the little search box at the bottom to try and highlight these. We're also going to want a weapon. Then we're going to look for any links that will be useful for us. My particular champion wants red 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 or red red green items. I did manage to get a 3-link all-red helmet, which I'm going to move my skills into, and as soon as we get a second support gem, I'll be switching that in as well. Sell any leftover junk to Tarkley to get some wisdom scrolls back. All that's left now before we continue with our adventure is to hit the P key to open the passive skill tree and let's assign our first skill point. This is the thing that most new players find incredibly daunting, but it's not actually all that bad if we just focus on what we can go for first. My two options are either maximum life and melee fizz or maximum life and armour. I want a tanky boy, so we're going for armour. Either click the point you want and then click apply, or control click. This will be slightly quicker. We're now going to head out of the door to the back of the town into the coast. The coast is pretty woeful for XP, so we're not going to want to kill anything. However, there are loads of things around the area that you can click on to drop loot. We will be going for these whenever we pass them, but don't go out of your way for them. Also note that I would only do this on my first character of the league where gear is incredibly scarce. For the coast, we're going to want to find a ramp up to a higher area and then keep running the higher area until you find a ramp down. If you come across a big fire boss, just run. She will absolutely wreck you this early. Eventually, you'll find an off-ramp down to the beach. We're just going to follow the beach left to right, heading for the Mudflats exit. Grab the waypoint as you pass it. Into the Mudflats now, and this is possibly the most dangerous area in the whole of Act 1. And that is because of these monsters, the Rowers. They do high physical damage and have a really strong chance of stunning you. When you're stunned, you can't move. They'll just keep hitting you until you die, and that is not good for you. What makes them even more dangerous is that you have to loot 3 of their nests to get little seashells. And this makes them very grumpy. So grumpy in fact that they make me a little scared, so I'm going to put my body armour on temporarily until we exit this area. You may be asking why I'm not wearing my body armour all the time. And that's because in this game, both body armour and shields have a hidden modifier which slow down your character. I always like to run as fast as possible, and therefore anything that slows me down I will put on as late as possible. If you're struggling to find a nest, then go back to a previous one and follow the little streams from it. These normally link to other nests and normally form a large triangle across the map. If you come across any rowers that are either blue or gold, try and give them a wide berth. Blue mobs are magic and gold mobs are rare. These have additional modifiers making them much harder than their normal counterparts. Once you've looted the third and final nest, you want to run to the right hand side of the map. Here you'll find a little cutting into the cliffs and you'll find this wall. Touch it to put the shells in it and this will open the exit into the submerged passage. Once in here, grab the waypoint and take it back to the coast. Then we're going to run downwards into the tidal islands. In the tidal islands, you're going to go down the left hand side of the map. If you find a large up ramp, you're going to immediately turn around, go back up to the top and then go down the right hand side. Otherwise, continue down the left until you meet Hailrake. And whilst we head his way, just a couple of notes. Whilst I'm levelling a new character in this guide, this is not a guide to building a character. However, if you do want to try and replicate my character as I run through the act guides, each of the guides will have a link in the description which links you to the items I have and the skill gems I'm using by the end of the act. But from now on, I will only talk about gems I'm picking up if there's some significance to them. I will also not be going through the tree link by link. Okay, that big guy throwing ice crystals around is Hailrake. The skill he's using is called Spell Cascade. One of your characters may even use this skill later. Anyway, how do we defeat this boss? Well, first thing to note is he's the only boss in the game so far that actually tracks your character. And he's pretty good at it. He has motion prediction all the way up at level 5. So the way we defeat him is we do this little dance, left and right, and stop unpredictably. This will mean he normally misses us with his ice thing every time, while we slowly kill him. Once he's down, he'll drop the medicine chest, pick this up along with any blue or gold items, and also any portal scrolls. And then we're going to log out to character select, and log back in. This will land us right in the middle of Lion Eye's Watch. Let's talk to Tarkleigh, because as always he'll have some gems to offer us, and in this instance he's going to offer us 2 sets of gems. The second set is the one we're interested in here, because for most characters that will include a movement skill. I say most characters as we're a Marauder and we are the only set that doesn't get a movement skill off Tarkleigh this round. Instead we get a guard skill, which is fairly good, offers us some additional shielding on top of our life. We're then going to sell the items in our inventory to Tarkleigh, utilising some vendor recipes to ensure we can get the currency we want for both buying things and crafting our items. I'll go through some of the best early game vendor recipes as we travel through this act. Also, if you didn't manage to pick up any runner's boots yet, search for them here. Over to Nessa now, and she's going to offer us some flasks for the medicine chest quest. We want the Quicksilver flask in practically all cases. Whilst the flask is active, we will move much faster. She'll also offer us a support gem to help support our skills. Now head to the waypoint and take it to the submerged passage. The exit to this area is normally to the right. There is a very small chance that it's actually going to be to the left, so try the right first and backtrack if it's wrong. Note that there are 2 exits in this area, you want the one to the ledge first. If you do happen to find the wrong one, just drop a portal there, we'll use it to come back. Note that the monsters in this area do a lot of cold damage, and cold damage can either chill you or freeze you. Freezing you will stop you moving, and that could get you killed, and chilling you will slow you down, both your movement speed and your action speed, meaning that you won't attack or cast quite as fast. If you did happen to pick up a totem skill, then you can drop this to distract the monsters while you kill them. Eventually you'll find something that's a cross between a bridge and a flight of stairs. We want to run up here, and if we haven't found the other exit, drop a portal. Once you're in the area beyond the stairs bridge, just find the exit to the ledge and go through it. The ledge is basically a long straight road. Just travel from one end to the other. There's a boss in the middle, you can leave it alone, you don't need to kill it. There's also a waypoint you can pick up if you want to ever come back here, but there's no need. Whilst we travel towards the exit into the climb, let's talk a little bit about vendor recipes. The really important one while you're leveling is selling either rare or magic items, the yellow or blue ones, in a mixture of identified and unidentified. You can identify an item by using a wisdom scroll on it. The unidentified ones grant transmute shards. The identified ones grant alteration shards. These shards combine to create orbs, and these orbs act as both reagents to crafting, but also currency to vendors. You are going to need a fair number of both to be able to buy skill gems as you progress through the early acts. Some other useful recipes are selling an item with a green, red, blue link will give you a chromatic orb. This allows you to re-roll the colours on your items. Another useful one is to sell any 3 of the same life or mana flasks to a vendor will give you an upgraded version of that flask. You are going to want a large mana flask before you complete Act 1 if you can get one. You really want a medium one from now onwards. If you are unlucky, it can be difficult to drop one, in which case you can buy them from Nessa. You may notice that as I've been running, I haven't been killing all the monsters. In fact, I've been running past a lot of them. Why is that? Killing monsters will require you to slow down, and so you want to slow down as little as possible. It just so happens that the blue monsters grant a greater amount of experience than the normal white monsters. The rare monsters give you even more, but they can take an age to kill, so the blue monsters are really the sweet spot. You want to kill those and skip most of everything else, unless it's in a big enough pack to stop you and kill you. The trade-off to this is that killing monsters recharges your flasks, so you may want to kill slightly more occasionally just to fill up your Quicksilver flask so you can run faster. Okay, I overran that section. We are now in the climb, and what we want to do here is head to the right. Eventually we should come to a waypoint. If there is a large open area below the waypoint, then that is the way you're going to find the exit. Otherwise, the exit will be upwards. Since Path of Exile 3.24 came out, there is now a big purple monolith in this area. Whilst you can get some fairly good loot from these, I would suggest you actually leave it alone. Killing them will take an age at this level, and it's also a really high chance of dying. And when you die, you'll restart the beginning of the area, which is bad for your run speed. Run around the edge of the arena and eventually you should come to a cliff with a load of sticks on it with big wheels on top with skeletons hanging from them. You want to find the ramp onto this cliff and then run around. Eventually you'll come to another ramp which takes you onto a big flat area full of mobs. Once you pass a certain point, a large boss will drop from the ceiling. When this happens, just keep running. It's not worth killing him, it takes too long. And also the chance of dying to all the little mobs is also really high. You'll now find yourself into a narrow area. You'll just want to keep running in this narrow area until you find the lower prison. You'll know you're nearly there because a load of skeleton wheelers will fly towards you. Enter the prison and the first thing you're going to want to do is run around the little closed area until you reach the waypoint. You can't miss it. We are going to take the waypoint back to Lion Eye's Watch, head down the stairs to your portal and head through it back to the submerged passage. If your inventory's full, you can consider selling stuff before going through the portal. It will just take time. Now you know the reason why we dropped the portal where we did. If from here you run down the bridge stairs and head downwards, eventually you should find an exit. In the very unlikely event the exit is not here, then head upwards. Now entering the flooded depths. It can be really awkward in here to find the boss. My general trick is to look for big open areas. Eventually you'll come across an island separated by water and there'll be bubbles in that water. You can use your movement skill to jump over the water or you can find the bridge. The boss we are looking for is the Dweller of the Deep, and since 3.24 he has been wrapped in essences. You'll need to poke him a couple of times so the essences break and then kill him. He has a load of added mobs to help recharge flash charges. He does have an absolute ton of HP, but he doesn't do that much damage in fairness. This is going to be one of those bosses where you want to drop your totem to distract him and just run round in a circle repeatedly until he dies. Just watch out for his totem, it will appear every so often and slam you. It's big and it's blue. After much heavy hitting, eventually he will die and he will drop a guaranteed essence. You're going to want to pick this up. We're now going to log back to town and Tarkly has a skill book for us for killing the Dweller. Right click on this to give yourself a free passive skill point. Put your skill point on the tree and I'm going to look for runner's boots again because I still don't have a pair, and he does have a pair this time but they're way too expensive at an alchemy. The great thing about essences is that they will turn a normal item into a rare item. This has a chance of giving these boots movement speed. In this case I didn't get it, but I always try and use on boots first until I get a pair of runners. Then you can try on your weapon sort of as a secondary effect and move on to other gear as needed. Now head over to Nessa and she'll give us a support gem. Note that she also sells gems. You can find this on tab 2 of her shop. I'm going to pick up a life tap skill from her. This is really good to put on your movement skill when you get it because it allows you to use life instead of mana, and it's normally easier to get your life to recharge than your mana to recharge early game. Once you finish shopping, head back to battle. It's far more interesting than shopping, you know. And by that I mean back to the prison, and in here we will find our first trial of ascendancy. These trials are scattered throughout the campaign and grant you access to the labyrinth. The labyrinth is where you ascend from your base class to one of its ascendancy classes. This is a really powerful upgrade that you can get around the end of Act 3, beginning of Act 4. In these guides I'm going to tell you where the trials are, but I'm not going to tell you any more about them. I do have a full guide on where to find all the trials and how to do the labyrinth. I will link this in the description of this video for you, so check it out after you finish watching. Once you've found the trial, you're going to find the exit, and that is easier said than done. Most of the areas in Path of Exile are random tile sets. That means they change each time you play them. But normally there is some kind of indicator as to where the exit's going to be, based on where you entered. For the prison it seems completely random and I've never been able to find a pattern. After some trial and error, you'll find the door to the upper prison. Enter here and then basically repeat what you did downstairs but upstairs to try to find the warden's chamber. I'm going to cut out most of my misery and take you straight there. As you run through the warden's chamber, you'll find Piety talking at you. Run past her, turn left again to try and find where she was. She'll have gone by now, but walk through the back of that room and now you'll find a trail of blood. Follow the trails of blood until you find the hulk of the beast, Brutus. His first attack is a chain pull. If you get hit by this chain, you'll be pulled straight towards him. His second is a delayed ground slam. He'll hit the ground sending out a shockwave cone. If it hits you, you'll take heavy damage and possibly be stunned. The way I like to run this fight is to drop a totem and distract him, and then fire from a distance. Try and keep your character positioned behind Brutus so that you won't get hit by his chain or his slam. The third of Brutus's attacks is the most deadly. It normally follows a chain pull. He'll pull you towards him and then he'll slam the ground 3 times. Each slam doing incredibly high damage. This fight is not phased, and the moment he loses all his health, he's down and he'll drop a nice amount of loot. As soon as he's down, you can log out. Back in town now, and you should be around level 10. Talk to Tarkley and he will give you your next level movement skill. Even I get one at this point, and we're going for Leap Slam. Now head to the waypoint and take it to Prisoner's Gate. Find the side of the arena that has a cliff edge. The other side will have stones. Once you find the cliff edge, jump down using your movement skill and find an offshoot. Follow this into a big chamber. Here you'll find another offshoot, follow this, and eventually you'll find the door to the ship graveyard. Once here, run diagonally left, or in our case, jump around like the Duracell bunny. Once you get to the cliff top left, follow along it until you find the exit. If you happen to find an overturned boat with a cave underneath, drop a portal here, we'll need to come back. Once you find the exit to the Cavern of Wrath, head in here and grab the waypoint, head straight back out. If you did drop a portal, take the waypoint back to town and then go back to that portal. Once your character has been inside the Cavern of Wrath, then all the level 12 skill gems that Necropolis unlock. So the next time you go back to town, either to grab that portal or after killing Fairgraves, pick up your next skill gem of choice. Okay, assuming you're back at the boat now, head into the cave underneath. You're going to search the cave until you find a quest marker with a door behind it. If your inventory doesn't have 2 slots left, one on top of the other, then empty something out of your inventory so you can pick up the quest marker. This will be the All Flame. However, picking it up may not be that easy. The moment you approach, a boss will pop out the floor. This boss has a really high propensity to freeze you. As soon as you thaw out, pick up the All Flame and head out the door at the back of the arena. You will pop out of the cave, not where you entered, but right near an NPC called Fairgraves. You'll give him the All Flame and he's about to betray you. But you won't find out for quite a while because he's making a really long speech to get to that point. Once the speech ends, he'll send out several waves of NPCs. These just melt. They're not a problem at all. Eventually, he'll teleport on top of you and start hitting you. Again, he's not a problem either. Just kill him and log out. Log back in now and grab a skill book from Bestel. This was for killing the pirate. Now take the waypoint back to the Cavern of Wrath and head either top right, and if the exit's not here, top left. You'll now be entering the Cavern of Anger, which looks very much like the last area, with one exception. There are these really nasty buggers. If these red squid actually get up to you and touch you, they will explode, doing massive damage. A huge pack of them will instantly kill you. It's really unpleasant. Anyway, once you've dispatched those, head into Merveil's lair. Merveil is the end of act boss, and she can be quite nasty. She deals mostly cold damage. In general, drop your turret so she'll try and attack that, not that it works very often, and then hit her. She has 2 main attacks in this section. One is to fire out these little ice spears everywhere, and then the other one is to drop loads of ice crystals on your head. After a while, she'll start spawning in adds. These are not very dangerous this time, but they do have quite a lot of hit points. Killing the extras is the only way to regenerate your flasks, and so you are going to want to kill them so that your mana flask doesn't run out like mine just did here. Her 4th ability that she'll start to use after getting to about half health is that she'll teleport around the arena. This isn't dangerous, it's just really irritating. Eventually you'll get her to low health and she will start screaming. You'll think that you've banished her back to the bottom of the sea, but you haven't. She's about to come back in phase 2. Only this time she's bigger, badder, and she's a sea creature. She also has a ton of new abilities. One is summoning these like tornado water things that will kill you if you stand in them, so don't. If you stand in one place too long, you're going to get hit by her water channels that she sends at you. These are like little rivers that flow across the floor and do reasonable damage if they hit you. Then there's the screaming. This creates an area of effective damage around Merveil. Stand in it and you'll take slow damage over time. This is not particularly damaging, and a normal life flask will normally take you through safely. And then there's the ads. This time she spawns in the red squids. You know, those ones that explode and kill you. So don't let these pack up, kill them as quickly as possible, and if they do touch you, they'll do heavy damage, but they won't be a whole pack trying to kill you. And now a little bit on defences against this fight. You want cold resistance. Elemental resistance in this game comes in 3 forms: fire, lightning and cold. You want to get this as high as possible before fighting bosses. The easiest way to get cold resistance in this early stage of the game is to grab sapphire rings. You can also make sapphire rings by selling a blue skill gem with an iron ring to one of the vendors. Anyway, once you do manage to finish her, loot and head out the door at the back of the arena. Well done Exile, you've now completed Act 1. These videos take a ton of time to make. If you found it useful then please leave a comment and let me know what you thought. And with that, thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.